All right, well, start with an opening statement from Coach Schertz and then questions.
Obviously, some like a lot of games, some good, some bad. I thought we played tight early. I thought we were competing. I think it was like we went 9 straight possessions without scoring there in the first half. Generated some pretty good looks, just didn't go in. I thought we were playing tight, and then I thought first half, I thought Gibson's shot making and Kellen's force and defense disruption really gave us separation going into halftime. I thought, we got beat to too many 50-50 balls. There was some. I didn't think we were very physical in the first half. I thought second half, outside of fouling, I thought we were much better, and I thought the bench guys played much better. I thought, guys like Larry, Josiah, Killian, AJ, Max, those guys were a little better in the second half. And, now how much of that is, you have a 30-point lead, how much of that, we got to get those guys playing that way when the game is, the game has context and meaning. So, but it was good to see them get some confidence. They need that, they need that. And I thought second half they all did a pretty good job. I thought we tightened up our defense a little bit in the second half as well. First half, they made us seem like, like 20, non-paint twos, but we didn't do a very good job of making them miss. We just, rear view contests, airspace wasn't good enough. So, a lot to take away. I thought we played better than we did last week. But, obviously we have 4 days and it's going to be a much higher line on Saturday against Loyola Marymount.
Why'd you choose Amari to start?
Drew straws out of a hat, and your hat actually. No, that actually won't. That's a very nice hat. So no, I when Kobe went out and then Robbie went out, we were gonna obviously have a spot open. I told them, I said, hey, I'm gonna let you guys decide it, and I thought Amari's 4 days of practice between South Dakota today. I thought he earned that. The way he competed. I said, coming in, like I'm gonna turn every page. I'm gonna keep an open mind about the team. I'm not gonna, Amari didn't play in South Dakota. He started today. I'm gonna maintain that same open mind all year about what's going on. I'm never gonna close off to what the possibilities for this team are. What gives us the best chance to win. I thought some of that carried over. I mean, his ability to disrupt defensively. He's got such long arms. He can pressure the ball. He's got good feet, and he had 6 assists. And I said out there to Rammer and Earl, I thought he could have had double digits. I mean, there was a couple there to AJ where we just couldn't quite catch it, and then there was we had a great one to Kellen that we got blocked on a layup. That one to Kalu that got blocked, or we missed the layup. I mean, he had a chance for 11 or 12 assists in that game, and so I thought he did a nice job. He got dinged up a little bit with his hip, and then but we got him back out there at the end. But I thought he played a really good floor game, even though he didn't score the way that we've seen him. He played a really nice floor game. I think he led us in assists, got 4 steals, and did all that in 22, 23 minutes.
So would he be part of the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, as of today, it'll change. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's certainly the opportunity there exists for him to do that. I don't think any of those guys, outside of just a couple have solidified themselves as like, hey, they got to be a part of the rotation. I think it's but everybody's getting opportunity to show that in practice. Obviously, you guys see the games, and then, but the day-to-day in practice, they're getting that opportunity. And so, like he and Josiah and Larry and Killian and AJ and Max and all those guys are working to try to show. And when you only have 10 scholarship guys, it's good to get guys opportunities. But I think Amari definitely helped himself today, and he's got a chance to if he has another good week of practice, be in the same position, whether it's a starter or one of the first guys off the bench going in next week. I think I've said from the beginning, he and Max are our 2 most talented in terms of their ceilings. They're not near our 2 best players because they both have deficiencies that young guys have. But there's no question that Max and Amari are our 2 most talented players in terms of their ceiling as a player in our program.
How valuable are those minutes that you're able to give in a game like this to reinforce what you're doing in practice?
That's the biggest value of this game. Is the chance for guys to play through mistakes. when you get into a Santa Clara, when you get into a Wichita State, Loyola Marymount, it's hard to say, hey, you can go out and play through, 3 or 4 mistakes, because 3 or 4 mistakes cost you the game. Those games are decided by 1 or 2 possessions. So you can't just say, hey, you go out here. But in a game like this, to give those guys minutes, for Max to get out there and play through, you could see a lot of those guys, everybody basically off the bench, to me, was in various parts. I think the first half was frantic. They're playing hard, but they're playing frantically. And so they're playing so fast that they're not playing well. They're not making reads. They're not understanding what's going on. They're losing assignments. They're flying around, but with no communication or purpose. So the second half, to be able to go back to that and say, all right, here's another chance. And like I said, I thought all those guys, from Larry, I got mad at Larry because missed a switch. Then he missed a switch and fouled a 3-point shooter. Then he came back in. He was better. And he's got to, that's where he's got to continue to grow, is, he's got to do it on both ends of the floor. But we know he's a capable shot maker, which we love about him. And, as he takes care of the ball and as he competes defensively, his role is a chance to continue to grow as well. Larry, so, and I say that for all those guys. But that was the value of today's game, was maybe in a tighter game, Larry makes those 2 defensive errors in the second half and he's pulled and he probably doesn't get another chance. Today we go back with him, and then I thought he settled in and played really good basketball. And there was a variety of guys that did that. AJ, Killian, like I said, Joe, second half was much, much better.
Do you feel like you're able to get a very good assessment of like your half-court offense without Robbie from today's game in terms of how much?
No, I didn't think so. I'll say this: the good thing was we forced a lot of misses. So, we either forced a miss or we fouled. So we were either really running a set or we were playing in transition. I thought our transition in the second half was much better. We have to make some subtle adjustments without Robbie to what we're doing. We don't, it's going to be more, like we said, kind of more collaborative relative to the playmaking. We don't have a primary playmaker out there without him, and so it's more guys creating action. I don't think we did a great job of it. I didn't think the carryover was very good from what we're trying to do in practice to today. So we got to go back to work the next 4 days, because we got to get more coherent, more purposeful and intentional on the offensive end relative to, how quickly we can create an advantage, what it takes to create an advantage, and then, I didn't think we got to that a whole lot. And again, part of that was just the game was in transition, and then the second half, we just fouled, which was the same thing that happened at Santa Clara. We've got to be more disciplined, the reaching and the pushing and the, just the kind of cheap, fouls that you can't afford. In a game like this you can, but against a team where the game's more competitive, that'll, we were in the double bonus. We're in the bonus with 11 or 12 minutes to go in the second half. It's ridiculous.
How do you address that in practice?
We're going to have to call it tighter. We have to. We gotta. There's. We want to be disruptive with discipline. There's a big difference in being reckless and being disruptive and gambling and compromising your defense and being disruptive with discipline. We have a lot of guys who have good instincts to steal the ball, but they have to be positionally sound, then let their instincts take over. We're too much just trying to reach and run through passing lanes and grab and, make, just bad, reckless plays. And then that's taking us out of position, then we're fouling. Or we're getting wedged under, like 21 for them was wedging us back. And, AJ got a pushing foul, Kalu got a pushing foul, Killian got a pushing foul. He was being more physical than us. And we got to be able to push him down underneath legally appropriate physicality, wedge him under and go get the rebound. And so these are areas we got to get into practice and clean up, but we have to call it tighter in practice. There's no question. We can't afford to, to be in the bonus with 11, 12 minutes to go in the half. It's back-to-back games. That's not a recipe for success.
Going back to the half-court offense, is it a lack of movement? Is it a lack of, is it a lack of on-ball movement versus ball movement? Like where do you need to see the biggest improvement before the Loyola game to have some confidence in the half-court offense?
We have to get better at understanding that, that we got to get to create triggers quicker, and with Robbie out, we have to do it collectively, and that everybody on the floor, can do that. Everybody on the floor can be a screen setter. Everybody on the floor can create a trigger. Everybody on the floor can get to different actions. And how quickly we can get to those actions, how quickly we can get in and out of those. We had a really good play in the first half when it was 19-18. I remember because it wasn't a whole lot in the first half, but I think Kellen set a step up from the he was in the corner. He set a step up, and we hit the seam. And Kellen got the ball in the seam, and he collapsed the defense. There was 3 defenders. He skips it opposite to Gibb for a wide open 3, and we bang that. That's simplistically, we have to get more guys creating more triggers, get to those advantages quicker, play with more pace in and out of our triggers. We got to get the ball ahead better. We got to play ahead more, get the ball ahead of the defense, and take defenders out of the half court. Where we had a couple good pitch aheads today, where maybe there was 5 guys in the half court. The more we can get the game from 10 players to anything's better than having 10 players in the half court. So the more we can get it, the less people in the half court, the more space. And then we got to get better at having pace in and out of our triggers to make sure that we're creating advantages. And if we don't get that trigger, if we don't create the advantage, we don't win the trigger, that the ball turns, we play to the next side. And again, it's got to be, it's a change for us because when you have Robbie, he's a primary playmaker. He facilitates and distributes in his passing, and the menu changed a little bit because we don't have guys who can hit splits. There's a couple times Clue had guys open. He's not making that pass yet, not comfortable. But where Robbie would hit those, but we've got to be better in all those areas. We got 4 days to try to make a jump. We worked on it for 4 days. It's better than it was whenever we came back Tuesday. But it's not good enough, for where it needs to be to probably, be above the line on Saturday.
You said after Santa Clara that you liked Larry's play in that game. What had you liked? What was the good things he did against Santa Clara?
Santa Clara? I think Larry's competing defensively. He's trying to really lock in on that end. Larry and I have talked a lot about, his role and what we're looking for him. And I want for Larry the same thing I want for every single player in the program, which is to be as efficient and as impactful as possible. And what does that look like for you on this team with these players? What does it look like to be an efficient, impactful player? And so for me, as it goes with him, want to take care of the ball, which he's starting to do. I want him to, hit singles when he's passing. Gibb rarely turns it over because he rarely tries to do anything he can't do with the ball. I want him taking great shots. He's a good shooter. When he takes good shots, he's a high percentage shooter. Need him to compete defensively. I think he's a guy that he has long arms. He can be disruptive defensively. I think he can rebound the ball better than what he's doing. But I thought against Santa Clara, I thought his compete level was high. I thought the shots he took were good. He didn't make any, but he took quality shots. I didn't think he got outside of himself, took care of the ball, got a couple rebounds. He's getting in there, got his nose in there a little bit. So, that's what we need from him. We don't need him to do anything he's not capable of doing. We need Larry Hughes to be as efficient and as impactful as possible. That's the same thing I want for, Isaiah Swope or Gibson Jimerson or anybody else. It's just what it looks like for that individual player on this particular team, and that's what we need from him. For him to be a guy that can help us this year. And I think he took second half. He certainly was better. Besides the 2 switching mistakes that he made there, where I took him out and then we put him back in.
Kellen's put together 2 pretty good games. Do you think like this that he would be better as a starter or maybe better as a 6-man energy guy, or does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know if it matters. I think Kellen's good either way. If we had everybody, I think he would have came off the bench. We just haven't had everybody yet. I guess we did for Maryville. So, but he probably would have came off the bench. But I don't know. You could make a case either way. Kellen come off the bench and be a great 6-man. Kellen, you could start Kobe, who's steady, or you could bring Kellen in and bring in Kobe, who's steady. Kellen's playing great, though. I mean, and Kellen's, I don't get as much caught up in the, who starts. I mean, to me, it's, who plays the most minutes and who closes. Now players, like it for the intros and the handshakes and stuff. They all have that stuff going. But, like, for me personally, it's who plays the most minutes and who closes games. And, Kellen Thame's going to play a lot of minutes for this team. I mean, he's a really good basketball player. He plays with force. He gets on the glass. He competes. He's disruptive defensively. He gets downhill. He's the best guy on our team at getting downhill. A lot of times we don't know where the ball's going to go once he's there, but he's starting to get better at putting the ball to his teammates in places where they can shoot the ball. He's making better passes. He can create a variety of action. He's terrific on the offensive glass. Kellen Thames is a really good player, and I think he's got a chance to, for us to be good, he's got to continue to grow. I think he's just scratching the surface of what he's going to become. I think he's just literally the tip of the iceberg. Like, he's got so many tools to become a high level player.
School record 41 3-pointers today?
Was that a school record?
Yeah.
Huh. What was the old record? What was it? 39? Yeah. Got a couple there late. 1995, huh? I would say, Earl asked me about that. What I would say was that was, I never go into a game with a amount of threes we want to take. I'll go back and watch the film. I would say out of those 41, I would bet 95% of them were ones I would take every day of the week, because the way they defended us. So if the way when we got the ball in the paint, they were flooding the paint with a lot of times 4 or 5 bodies, and they were trying to take away the rim. And so when they flood the paint like that, take away the rim, the right play is to get off the ball, and then you're getting those paint to great, those second side opportunities, and that's where now we may have missed some cutting opportunities on those penetration and on those paints, but like those kick out threes that we're shooting, like I want them shooting that. I want that. I mean, there'll be nights where they don't go in. I mean, we didn't shoot it great tonight. We're 14 for 41, so that's okay. I mean, that's not anything we're to write home about. But like out of those 41 threes, like those are the shots. Like I would have predicted. I think I told the staff we'll probably shoot 43s, not because I wanted to shoot 43s, but because I thought that they would collapse on drives and allow us to spray out, and then you have to shoot those shots, and we got to shoot them with confidence. And on a night where Swope's 1 for 9, like the vast majority of those were, I would say, high quality threes. He just missed them, and that happens. And Gibb made a bunch tonight, and that was awesome. And and then from there it was kind of like Gibb and Larry really carried the day, and then outside those two guys we really didn't shoot the ball very well at all. But again, the quality of shot was Amari's threes were fine. He used to shoot those, get confident shooting those. Kalut took one. It was wide open, but he should have rolled. They rejected the screen. Larry drove it. Kalut had a dunk, and instead of taking a dunk, he popped back. Or just that's a misread. But the shot itself was a wide open three, and we got to take those with confidence. And the math works. Trust me. Like if you outscore, so even at halftime, like they were out shooting us from the field. I think like 44 to 41, and we were up by 18 points because we'd outscored them 24-0 from the 3-point line.
You said before the game you told your coaches you would shoot 43s?
That was my guess, that we would attempt 43s. I said I bet we shoot 43s because I just thought there would be enough of those where they would collapse on them. We watched them against Houston Christian, and they teams will play you different. Some teams, when you drive it, they fan out and they make you finish, and we'll shoot way less threes. Like we played Southern Illinois when I was at Indiana State, we never shot 23s in a game against them, because when Brian Mullen's there, if you beat them off the dribble, they're going to make you finish that one-on-one, and you got to be ready to do that. You got to get the ball to the rim, and then the defense tells you what to do. And the defense tells you if you're going to shoot 43s or 15 threes or 20. The defense tells you every possession. Where maybe I got to watch the film to see were there times we missed gaps in the shell to cut and get dunks, because you always it's not how many threes we want to start with layups and dunks and then the threes. But the quality of threes was very high.
All right, very good.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.